Airial, if I could marry her brain, it would be amazing.
If you need anything technical.
She is down to earth. She's fun. She's very easy to network with.
Anything systems oriented.
Just anything web dev techie that I don't understand, Airial has swooped in and fixed. And she's my accountability bulldog.
She is a queen.
Anything infrastructure related.
She is helpful, and she helps guide and answer all your questions that you have about growing your business and networking and getting started.
She gives me life. She just gives me life.
Airial Reynal is your girl. Welcome to the TrepTECH Podcast with your host, Airial Reynal.
I just want to marry her brain. She's a genius.
What is up, and welcome to the TrepTECH Podcast. I am the humble co-host, Scott Butte, and I am here with the magnificent, the glorious, the wonderful Airial Reynal. Airial, how you doing?
Oh my gosh, I am so nervous, yet so excited. We have not been on the mics in months.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute since we've recorded anything, that's for sure.
I didn't realize how much batch recording we actually did, but I'm glad we did.
Yeah.
And first of all, I want to give a shout out to all of our listeners because the feedback I've been getting is amazing. I want to thank each and every one of you. And also, please make sure to put in a review and rate and subscribe to the podcast so we can actually see those numbers and let other people know what we're about and how bad they really need to listen to TrepTECH Podcast.
Yeah, if there is anyone who can benefit from any one of our episodes that you've listened to, if you listen to an episode and you think, oh man, so-and-so is struggling with that, send them a link because we could help a lot of people. You could help a lot of people. And that's how the show grows, is word of mouth, one person at a time. So we'd really appreciate that.
And it doesn't cost you anything.
No, click share. So what's up, Airial? What are we talking about today?
You sound so damn sexy on the line, by the way. I'm like, really?
I'm relaxed.
Can we not be operator 8 or whatever?
I'm really relaxed. I think that might be it. I'm just I came back from 2 weeks of vacation. And then
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I came back from 2 weeks of vacation, and vacation was great. And so we cottage in the woods, in the middle of nowhere in the Ottawa Valley, and it's a lake, and then there's a little strip of beach, and then there's this old rustic cabin it's a log cabin. It was built in I don't know, the 50s, the 40s. I don't know how long this thing was built, but it was in my wife's family for multiple generations, right? And so there's no indoor plumbing. There's literally an outhouse that you have to go out and use the bathroom in. There's you can get running water outside on a pump. But you're literally out there in a log cabin, but the area is paradise, right? And so it's a lot of
wow.
It's a lot of kayaking, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of boating and swimming, and just everything is focused around this lake, and the nearest town is 45 minutes out.
So you not only took a break from business, but it's you took a break from the world, everything.
Yep. And that's kind of what happened, is because last year we went, but I worked every day. This year it was crazy because things were just ramping up and ramping up and ramping up, and stress was climbing and climbing and climbing to the point where the day before we left, I ended up losing a client. My wife literally had to sit down and talk about do we want to take this trip? Is this going to set us back? Is this going to whatever? And I was like, oh man, the last thing I want to do is go on vacation and be worrying about this the whole time I'm gone. So and then I was like, you know what? No, I'm not going to think about it. I'm not going to think about it at all. I'm just going to focus on, Scotland and my wife tour, and we're going to go out and we're going to have a good family time. We're going to do our thing, and that's it. That's all I'm going to focus on. Not going to focus on business at all.
And I mean, you really had the audacity to take a vacation. How long was it? 2 weeks, you said?
Yes.
I swear it felt like 2 months, because I know we've talked about boundaries and everything, and I'm so proud of you for setting boundaries. But damn, that does not apply to me
I
and
didn't.
our friendship.
You know what though? I told you I was in the woods. Connection was bad. I would reach you when I could. And I did tell you that the boundaries did not apply to you. And anytime you needed me, when I had connection, I answered you. But there was literally people that I said, like, hey, if you want to do up an invoice, I'll drive 45 minutes, set up a call, and we can talk about this. But you're going to have to pay me for my time. I'm on vacation. And damn right, vacation time would have been extra. Like,
But it was amazing though. And I was so happy for you because I was like, you need this vacation. And I know how much you've worked through your other so-called vacation. So for you to actually take vacation, I was like, go for it. I'm going to still bug you and talk shit, but go for it. Good for you, Scott.
well, I mean, it didn't come like it wasn't like peace and serenity now the whole time. Like the trip there was like 6 hours of Scotland screaming in her car seat because she didn't want to. Then the next day was good. She slept. and then and then we got there and it was good. And then we had this like nightmare family that Tor knows come stay with us for like they're supposed to stay for 5 days. I literally kicked them out after 3 because I couldn't
Oh my.
oh, they were screaming at each other and yelling at each other, and like their kids were misbehaving and running all over the furniture. And one of them got heat stroke because he was out all day in like 40 Celsius degree heat. Like they were a nightmare. And so,
Wait a minute. What is that in Fahrenheit? Because you know we don't do
man,
Celsius over here.
Google it.
I think 32 is 100, right?
I'm not 100% sure on that.
Well, I'm gonna need you to get with the U.S. metric system. Come on.
But yeah, no. So like they were a nightmare and they left, and like those times I could feel my stress levels like going through the roof, right? But the way back, the drive was so super chill. And then when we got home, I was supposed to jump in right away. And
Okay. I'm interrupting you because it was gonna kill me. 104 degrees Fahrenheit for all of our U.S. listeners.
yeah, and this boy was out there on a hot beach without a hat on, without a shirt on. At least he was wearing sunscreen. But I told that kid's parents, sorry, like midday, you got to get that boy in the house. He's going to be wicked sick if you don't. And they were like,
Yeah.
yeah, whatever. Like, basically, don't tell us how to parent. They brought him in. He kicked and screamed and fought and cried and pissed and moaned for like 15 minutes. They let him back out. About 2 hours later, that boy ran in the cottage, and I was the only one in the cottage. He was like, Scott, I need my mom. And I was like, what's wrong, man? He's like, I don't want to tell you.
Heat stroke can kill you. You can die from that.
I was like, what's wrong, man? You need to tell me because if you're going to be sick, I need to know. He's like, I'm going to be sick. And in my head, I was like, I fucking told you.
That's why he didn't want to tell you.
Yeah. In my head, I said that. And I was like, okay, let's go get your mom. Let's go get this sorted. Man, I brought that dad out and gave him a tongue lashing. Holy shit. I've never told off another parent before in my life. But that was like, yeah. So anyway, I digress. So like after that, we came home. And I was supposed to jump right back into work. And you know me, like normally when I come back from a vacation, I am like, let's do this. I'm pumped. I'm charged. Let's go. Let's rock this. I wasn't done taking a break yet.
Yeah, because I didn't even hear from you for like a week. You were like, let's talk tomorrow. I'm like, okay, yay. About time you brought your ass back. And it was silence. I was like, okay, I guess he's catching up from vacation.
I took an extra 4 days. Day 1, I cleaned my place a little bit, unpacked, puttered, all that stuff, and just stayed in bed because I pulled my back unloading the car, which is a good way to end vacation. So I just kind of like nursed myself a little bit. And then the next day, my sister came to visit. The day after that, I had family from British Columbia, so the other side of the country that I've never met before. They never met Scotland before. My military stepdad, it was his brother. So he came to visit with his wife. And then the day after that was a family barbecue. So I just like took 3 solid days of just socializing with family. And once I got back, I was good. I was ready. Like I felt like, holy shit, I can take on the world now. So I'm really glad we took the vacation and the break.
And it's so necessary. It's so important. And I love thank you, first of all, for sharing that moment before your vacation where you had to make the decision of whether to not take vacation or to still take it. Because I know we go through that a lot as solopreneurs. It's like, okay, I'm getting ready for this vacation, but I lost a client. So I lost income. I need to make up that income. how can I possibly go on vacation right now? But the most important thing is taking that vacation, because if you didn't, you would have burned out. You would have been ornery and an ass more than usual, and angry
Yeah.
and not been able to focus.
Yeah, absolutely. And while I was there, I lost a client too. Okay.
Mm.
And, like, I'm not into the woo woo side of things, but I did do this to myself. I set it in motion because, like, Jesse and I had a meeting like a month before we left. And I said, you know what? I'm not happy with the way things have gone in the last 6 months. There are a couple of clients that I'd like to distance myself from. There are a few things that I'd like to change. There are a few things that I'd like to tighten up on. And so, as I was leaving for vacation, like, everything that I said I wanted to have happen started to happen on its own. Like, I hadn't done anything yet because I was like, it's all going to happen when I come back from vacation. We're just going to hold out. We're going to do the work. I'm going to go on vacay. You're going to go on vacay. We both got to take a vacation, by the way. So, yeah. So we both went on vacation. We both rested. And then I was like, when we come back, we'll start dismantling and moving things around and shifting things. But no, it didn't work that way. It happened before, while, and after. So yeah, so like, it happens, man. Like, I was there standing in the kitchen in my cottage reading an email saying, so hey, I found another producer. I'm watching costs right now. We're going to go with them instead. I've already given them my episode.
How did you not freak out?
I told myself that I wasn't going to worry about work while I was away. And I'll tell you, like, I had a shitty night. Like, Tor had to give me a hug and told me she believed in me. Like, that was something that had to happen. Like, I was not having a good night. I was beside myself. I was like a little bit perplexed. I was pretty angry because we have like a 30-day period. Like, we'd like it give us 30 days notice so we don't do your work already, So when I got that email, I was like, okay, well, that sucks, but I told myself I wasn't going to stress, so I'm not going to stress. And the next day, luckily I got it in the evening, so it didn't ruin a whole day or anything. But the next day I woke up and I was good. There was stuff to do. We had to go play. We had to go have fun. We had to go climb hills and look at snakes and rocks and hunt for frogs and, inflate pool inflatables and fix up areas of the cottage and lay in a hammock for 2 hours in the sunshine. Like, there were things to do. So I did.
So now that you're back,
yeah.
When you got back, are you like, holy shit, I lost those 2 clients. Now I have to work on getting new clients?
Okay, so the way it kind of breaks down, and I'll be 100% transparent about this, is I lost almost $2,000 in recurring revenue very quickly. Now, there was definitely some damage control to do. So the first thing you want to do in a situation like that, or the first thing I wanted to do in a situation like that, is see where I could cut expenses. So what's costing me a ton? Now, my team costs a lot. My overhead itself is not so big. But for the most part, the biggest thing that happens for me is, like, I spend on team to give me time. So I was like,
right.
Okay, well, then Jesse and I sat down and we renegotiated the workload for the month. So I was like, okay, this is what I can afford. This is what we can do. Are you cool with that? If not, we're going to have to find, So we started talking and we renegotiated this month's contract. It was good. He had my back on this one, right? So, and that's a part of it too, is like, a lot of people, especially like people who come from unionized places and things like that, that renegotiation phase scares them because, like, some places will close the damn company rather than take a hit for a month.
Oh, true.
Like, the employees will be like, no, I'm not renegotiating. This is my salary. And then companies close the doors. So, like, that's not going to happen to us. And so, because worst case scenario, I could always go do the work myself. And that's what's going to happen, is I'm going to take on a lot of the production work myself this month, which doesn't bother me at all. Just takes time away from what I'm going to do. But the other part of it was like, okay, that's what I can do on the expense side. What can I do on the sales side? And if you've been following the TrepTECH collaborative group on Facebook, you have a full breakdown of what I've been doing on the sales side. I've been creating a couple pieces of content. I reconnected with some of my previous clients who I love and said, hey, can you direct me to another client like you? That panned out so far. Sales call went well. So now I'm pretty much just waiting to have a responsive yes or no, And so I'm not too worried about that. And it's been a grand total of 4 days since I started working again, right? So, like, in 4 days, I could stimulate some sales, and that's great. I'm not worried about it at all.
And you hit the ground running. And I saw in the TrepTECH Collaborative Facebook group that you were like, hey, I'm doing this sales thing. And I figured if y'all wanted to come along with me, you can. So you can follow me on the journey. So definitely check that out, everybody. The TrepTECH Collaborative Facebook group. We will put the link in the show notes. Check it out. Check out Scott's sales journey after coming back on from vacation. And then there's a lot of other stuff in there, like my launch in 90 information, and I mean tons of stuff in there.
Yeah,
So definitely check that out.
It's pretty ridiculous. And I think part of the reason I'm not concerned is because I took the time and I'm so relaxed. Like if this was pre-vacation me, like before the long break, I think I'd be freaking out right now and nothing good would be happening, right? Because I'd be in that
Yeah.
shitty mind state and desperation. But I got back and I literally told myself, like, things have been worse. Let's go. Let's do it. That was literally it. That was my pep talk. Things have been worse. Let's do this. So I just did the thing. And, you know, like you and I with the podcast is another example of a break we took. You know, getting on the mic started to feel like a chore for both of us, or we'd just start finding better things to do that day.
Oh, you felt that too? It wasn't just me?
No, I felt it too.
And I mean, I love it. I love it. Don't get me wrong. I love getting on the mic. I love the podcast.
We do 4 hours of recording every single week. Do you
Yeah.
know how hard that is to sit down and do disciplined? Like I know people who can't even do 1 20-minute episode a week because heaven forbid they have a desk. Right. So like what we do is it feels like a chore because it's a lot of talking and recording and coming up with content, and like it is a pretty big job to sit down and record 4 episodes a week.
Mm-hmm.
Like every single week
So the break was amazing.
Yeah, it was. And like so now we come back and we're refreshed and we've got all this stuff that happened over the span of 3-4 months that we want to talk about.
Right. And I mean, a lot has happened. So stay tuned. You're going to hear some interesting stories.
I think so. But
Yeah.
I mean, like, I think breaks are super necessary. Like, they don't have to be 2-week vacations in the woods, although if you can, please do. Like, go take a crap in the woods outside of your tent first thing in the morning after getting eaten alive by mosquitoes all night. The most enjoyable experience. Honor. Don't take your cell phone. Leave your fucking cell phone at home. Like just go.
I was about to say, disconnect from social media, the phone, electronics, period. Just disconnect. And you need that because if you hadn't taken, one of my biggest things is if you hadn't taken those 2 weeks, then you could have just kept going, kept grinding, kept churning out work and hit the point of burnout where you may have needed 2 months or more of a break. So the 2 weeks, even though, you know, shit happened, that was the best thing you could have done because now you come back with a clear mind, you're calm, you're able to focus, and you're able to do whatever needs to be done to get new clients, bring in new business and everything.
Oh yeah, like pre-vacation me was frazzled, man. I was burning the candle at both ends. I was aggravated. Because like there's just so much in my day-to-day life that I have to take care of because I'm dad, I'm a husband, I'm Mr. Client Service guy. And that was one of the things that the dad meeting up with that family was super helpful for me, by the way, even though they were disastrous. You know, that guy sat down and tried to justify his lack of parenting to me at one point, and he's like, well, you'll see when you have 2 kids and I have another little one on the way. He's like,
congrats.
Thank you. He's like, you know, she pulls me this, like my daughter pulls me this way, pulls me that way. When it's not my daughter, it's my son, and when it's not my son, it's my wife. I was like, yeah, and add like 12 clients on top of that, brother. That's my life. All day, every day. Like it's my cell phone, so I don't disconnect. I was like, the biggest thing you need to do right now is stop treating your family like they're an inconvenience to you.
Ooh.
And like I gave him a really good tongue lashing about it. And you know what? It was very good for my soul to get out some aggression on someone. And I know that sounds awful, but to sit there and call someone on their bullshit was super, super nice. But it also gave me the ability to go, holy shit, look what you handle every day. No wonder motherfucker needs a break.
I've been trying to tell you that how awesome you are, but I guess you don't listen to me anymore.
No, not at all. And but like for me, it's an internal thing. Like I never think I work hard enough to deserve a break because
But you do.
there is so much that needs to be done. There's always that. Like, as soon as I finish stack 1 of things to do, stack 2 on the conveyor belt just rolls right in. Right.
And you know why you're going through a lot of that is because you're so freaking stubborn and you won't let me set up the systems and automation for you. You want to do things the old school way. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, and like that's just because that I enjoy doing things the old school way. Like my shit literally runs on Microsoft Excel and phone calls.
Oh my gosh. And then
Like
you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so overwhelmed. I'm like, Scott, I could automate all of this so it's easier for you.
yeah, but you know what? It's good to know my business can run on Microsoft Excel and a phone call. That to me gives me so much comfort. I don't rely on technology like crazy. So it makes me feel really good. Like, and the that process isn't what bothers me. I only need like 5 or 6 clients to live my lifestyle. 10 or 12 would make me over the moon and have made me over the moon when I had them. I had like a lot of extra money to play with and stuff. But you don't need some big extravagant system to track 6 and clients. You just need like, a phone
um,
to call them.
yo, don't talk me out of a job here.
Well, I'm just saying, like, for me, for what we do, like, we don't do a lot of extravagant shit, you know? But as far as setting up systems and stuff, like, the stuff you have set up has been phenomenal. Like, when we need landing page help or we need funnel help or we need membership site help, yeah, okay. But, like, I really enjoy having my finger on the pulse of client connection. It's my favorite part
And
of
that
what I'm learning.
and that's
When I
fair.
like my
That's fair.
clients. When I like my clients. When I don't like my clients, and that's when I realized there was a problem, and why I realized things needed to be dismantled and why I realized they needed a break. I didn't like the client connection part anymore.
Ooh, and we definitely need to cover that in one of the next episodes.
Yeah, yeah. So like the break, I came back refreshed. Like you said, I came back ready to go instead of burned out. There's no burnout. So chances are that 2 weeks bought me another 6 months of like constant production. So like,
Mm,
and I was able to, the stress that I was under seemed small in comparison to the fun I was having, you know? So, and there's not too
nice.
many times in my day to day that happens. Usually the stress is the overbearing, overruling emotion. It's like, go, 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 go all the time. The house, the car, the this, the that, the groceries, just the day to day on top of the business, right? No systems in the world are going to help me with my day to day in my household, No systems in the world are going to understand what it's like to be married to Tor. Like,
Scott, you're supposed to be selling me, not
now listen. If you can figure out a system that translates my wife's stuff into a language that I understand so that I do things right the first time, you will have a gold mine of a system. If you can sell that to men everywhere, like an understanding your wife the first time system, then you are set. But that's the kind of stuff that, like, when people say work-life balance, work and life are the same thing. So
yeah,
like there's no finding a balance. It's seasonal. Sometimes you need a 3-week break and sometimes you don't. And
yeah,
I
yeah.
think a lot of people need to understand that, like, sometimes work is going to demand a lot more of you, sometimes it's going to demand a lot less of you, and rather than stressing about it, roll with it, adapt, roll with the punches. When money's good, you don't need to sell as hard. Maybe if you keep selling a little bit, money won't get as hard again. But when money gets hard, you need to sell a lot. So roll with that. But I don't think there's any harm in taking a break unless that break is going to destroy your entire business. But I think the other outcome would have been, if I don't take this break, am I going to destroy my family? So, sometimes a break is needed just to protect your own sanity. And if you do go out in the woods, you don't need to bring your family. You don't need to bring your wife. Like, literally, my stepdad will call me sometimes and he'll just say, "Hey, you look like you're about ready to knock yourself off. Do you want to go out into the woods for a night of camping? Just you and I. That's it." And we'll just go. We'll go out in the woods. We'll pitch a tent. We'll light a fire. And there's a very good chance we won't talk to each other the entire time.
So I'm learning now, go out in the woods and
Yes.
take a shit in the middle of nowhere and
Yes.
make sure you orgasm. Those are the two things I've gotten over the last 8 months of TrepTECH.
Yeah. Like, don't relax yourself. Like, go find ways to stay relaxed, whatever that looks like. Just don't disappear forever in the woods. Like, don't get lost or eaten by a bear. And like, don't ideally don't become a sex addict, because that would make things really difficult in business. Business is super sexy, so if you become addicted to sex, you're in trouble. But it doesn't mean you can't enjoy a nice camping experience and an orgasm. Like, do it up.
Right?
If you can do them together, even better. But if if the person your orgasm is attached to is part of the reason for your stress, I recommend leaving them home for a while. Like, just every now and then, Like, the point is, you need to disconnect from stress. Like, you absolutely need to, whatever that looks like. If it's crocheting in a sunroom with the phone turned all the way down, do that, If it's sitting and having a tea on a balcony with your children inside killing each other with toys, do that. Go have your tea. They'll be all right.
They'll be okay. They're resilient.
Yeah. Kids are made of rubber. They bounce. Like, just let them play. Just take your moment.
One of my things is on Sundays, I turn my phone off, or I'll at least turn the volume all the way down so I don't get notifications or rings or whatever. And I'll leave it in another room. That way I'm not just connected to it all day like I usually am. And I'm telling you, that makes a world of a difference. Just every Sunday, that's what I do. And it's not even all day Sunday, but it makes a world of a difference. And the weeks that I don't do that, I can definitely tell, because I am highly irritable on top of my normal being irritable.
On top of my normal irritability, it's amplified. Yeah, and that's what people don't realize is, like, you take a weekly break because you need it. You literally have a day. It's convenient you took the same day as the Lord, you would, but you literally have a day. You literally have a day where you could just turn off your shit and be like, no one is bothering me today. And I think it's important to, like, see and you kind of, it's nice too, because like, you can, when you disconnect, like, aside from Simba being whiny, and you can, like,
Oh gosh.
you can get away from people and just kind of chill. For me to get away from people, since I've started a family, is like mission impossible. I have to wake up at the crack of dawn before anyone's awake, slip out, be like, hey, working out of the house today, and hope to God no one needs like margarine or a trip to the hospital or like, because then I got to come back. Like, for me to take time to myself is super difficult lately. So when I get the chance to do it, I do it like 100%.
Yeah. And Simba, I swear he knows when it's a Sunday, because that's the only day he acts like he has some damn sense, because he'll come lay next to me and he's like, oh, we're sleeping all day today. It must be Sunday. And he'll just curl up and be good. Any other day, he gets on my fucking nerves.
Because you're trying to work and he's like, no, we're supposed to be sleeping now. Like, this
right? Or I need you to pay me some attention, mama.
Yeah, that's how it is. And that's literally, kids are that amplified. Like, I literally went downstairs. We got on the phone to record this, and my wife is nauseous as hell because, pregnancy, and she's like, can you make Scotland a bagel? And I'm like, I just literally just sat down for the first recording session in like 6 months, and you're gonna make me get up. You're gonna make me get up and go make a bagel. So I put on my smile, my big smile, and I went down. Hey everybody, I'm gonna make a bagel. We're gonna have so much fun making this bagel. And then when I popped the bagel down, I was like, are you good to butter it at least? Like, can I please go back up? Because the smell of the bagel was like turning her off. And I was like, am I good to go up from now, or do you need me to make the whole thing? And she's like, no, you should be good. And I went to turn, and Scotland did not want to get put down, started screaming, wailing, threw her head back, like full-blown tantrum.
I heard that.
Yeah, because I have to leave. Like, I have to come up 11 steps, sit in a different room, still in the house, by the way. And like, I have to be out of her sight for a few hours. She threw a fit.
Yeah.
So like,
and Simba was doing the same thing when you came back on. He's like, because I closed my door and I don't talk to him, so he can't see me, but he can hear me. And I'm surprised he's not beating down the door right now because I'm saying his name. But yeah, I'm telling you.
Like, don't get me wrong, I love my family, but I'm starting to understand now why like a lot of dads kind of go out fishing and go out doing this and go out doing that, and like a lot of ladies, they'll go out and like just pamper themselves. They'll go out and get their hair done or their nails done, or they'll go to have a spa day if they're fortunate enough to do so, and they'll get out. Is because like parents need an underground railroad established to get away from their kids. Like dads need other dads to walk by, bang on the door, leave like a little fishing lure under the mat with a time and place etched into it so we can all go meet by the river and escape and go fucking fishing. Like, I get it now. And so yes, if you can take time, please take time to yourself, because when you come back, you'll be a better parent, you'll be a better spouse, you'll be a better pet parent, you will be a better business owner, but most of all, you'll be a better client too for the people, because like you're also a crappy client when you're burned out. So
that's another episode.
We'll talk about crappy clients another day. I've talked about that in the TrepTECH group, so if you're curious and cannot wait, please go learn, have fun, experience the worst side of Scott, because in that group I literally do not hold back a damn thing.
But we said we would keep it real, and that's what we're doing. So check it out. Again, Scott, welcome back from vacation. I missed you. I'm so glad you're back. My bestie is back. And man, let's see where the rest of the season takes us.
Yeah, no, I'm so excited. Thanks for having me back, and thank you for letting me talk about literally doing nothing for 2 weeks.
So remember, everybody, make sure you take a break. Scott said if. I'm going to take out that if. Do it. You have to do it, because like I always say, you cannot fill someone else's cup from an empty cup. So definitely take your break. Self-care, even if it's just 15 minutes a day, 15 minutes once a week, something where you're just taking care of you. It's not selfish. It is crucial. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for listening. Airial signing out.
Thank you for tuning in to the TrepTECH Podcast. But if you like what you heard, go on to Apple Podcast and bring her a 5-star review. And also, if you want to check out her service while she transforms mindsets, navigating entrepreneurship, leveraging technology, building relationships while bridging the gap in your business, check out TrepTECHacademy.com. That's TrepTECHacademy.com.